Good morning, Lower School. Please rise and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Even when you're in your home, feel free to use the flag on your computer screen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So you're home today, and hopefully you were able to sleep a little later this morning and have a good breakfast, and you're on for your learning today with your teacher from home. So I hope it's a great day for everyone. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, very important week when we can really help our teachers feel the love and appreciation that we have for each and every one of them. I know you show this to your teachers in some way each and every day, but I have to say MSCA is doing an amazing job. I know on Monday when the teachers drove in, they are greeted by large yard signs and just tons of wonderful goodies waiting in the faculty rooms and their classrooms. So much generosity by our parent community, and we really thank you for that. But I have to say personally that working with the teachers each and every day, it's such an honor for me to work beside such amazing individuals. Each day I know that they're going to teach from their big, enormous hearts. They care so much and love their students so much. It shows really throughout each and every day. And a favorite book of mine, read it a couple of years ago in a chapel, it's called Because I Had a Teacher. Fabulous book. If you ever want to look at it, it's in my office. But I believe it could be called Because I Had a Montgomery Teacher, because it really sums up our teachers just from cover to cover. But the favorite part of mine says this: because I had a teacher, I have whole new worlds to explore. I discovered that what I can imagine, I can make real. And now I feel I can do anything. So we often say that teachers are heroes, but our teachers at Montgomery are really superheroes. They should be wearing capes each and every day, and I just can't thank them enough for all their hard work. So students in your classroom or students from your home right now, give your teacher some clapping, some applause, give them a virtual hug from the screen, and make sure that they know how much you appreciate them, okay? So today, I also wanted to remind you about Milky Way Farm Night to support our 8th graders. That is tomorrow night, Thursday night, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. down on the farm. They're having ice cream sundaes, a lot of fun little events. You all have been participating in the Kiss the Cow, so we'll see who wins that. But it is $5 per person to attend, or $20 per family. So I hope you all can make it to that fun event. So today's chapel is brought to us by Mr. McConnell. Mr. McConnell does so much for our school. He manages all of the budgets of our school. So if a teacher wants to bring something to Montgomery that's really special that they know might cost a little bit, they might run to Mr. McConnell and say, gosh, I really want to bring this program to Montgomery. And Mr. McConnell will usually say, well, it's really important and it's for the kids, and we need to make this happen. And he'll somehow figure out a way to make it happen. And I just find that always really special about Mr. McConnell, that he really wants to make the learning here just spectacular, and will always look for funds to make that happen. So we're really grateful to your work, Mr. McConnell. He has 2 children who are elementary age children. Mr. McConnell lives in Delaware, so he makes a long trip to our school every day, and his children go to a school in Delaware. He's a Steelers fan. I will not hold that against him, but he does love the Pittsburgh Steelers. His office is down the farmhouse. You see him up in the schoolhouse so very frequently. Years ago, he coached the cross-country team, so he enjoyed doing that and spending time with our students. So when you see Mr. McConnell on campus, I know you always say hello, so let's continue to show him a good greeting, and let's be good listeners for Mr. McConnell today. Welcome to the stage, Mr. McConnell.
Good morning, Montgomery School. Does anyone know what this Sunday is? Anyone? That's right. This Sunday is Mother's Day. Believe it or not, there are almost 85 million mothers in the United States, and there are 2 billion mothers in the entire world. That's a lot of mothers. Each second, more than 4 babies are born in the world, so there must be a lot of mothers. Wait a second. 4 babies were just born. That's amazing. This year, roughly 85% of all Americans intend to celebrate Mother's Day. That means that for every 10 people, almost 9 of them intend to observe it. That's a lot of people who care about Mother's Day. Now, I've been celebrating Mother's Day since I was a young child, and I've experienced more than 45 Mother's Days in my lifetime. I'd like to think that I'm an expert on Mother's Days. But I have to admit, until recently, I really didn't understand the history of Mother's Day. So today I wanted to spend some time talking about Mother's Day, how it began, where it is celebrated, and why it is so important. At Montgomery, you know that we will celebrate Greek and Roman games later this month. Well, the earliest organized celebrations of mothers took place in ancient Greece and ancient Rome thousands of years ago. Back then, the ancient Greeks held a celebration in honor of their goddess Rhea. The Greeks believed in many different gods, not just one, and they thought that Rhea was the mother of other gods. In ancient Greece, people would make offerings of honey cakes, drinks, and flowers to honor Rhea. The ancient Romans had their own set of beliefs, and they celebrated a different goddess named Sybil. In Rome, they actually built a temple to honor Sybil, and they had a spring festival called Hilaria. People would make offerings at the temple, hold parades, and play games. The celebration lasted 3 days. People would bring gifts to the temple to please Sybil, whom they believed was an all-powerful mother goddess. Now in England, 400 years ago, people celebrated something called Mothering Sunday as a way to honor the mothers in England. Back then, many of England's poorest people lived and worked as servants far away from their homes and families. On Mothering Sunday, they were given the day off to go home and spend the day with their mothers. They would bake a special cake called the mothering cake on that particular day. So even though many of us might think of Mother's Day as an American celebration, mothers have actually been celebrated in an organized way for thousands of years before our American holiday ever got started. Now let's talk about our Mother's Day in the United States. How did that get started? Well, in the United States, Mother's Day didn't become an official holiday until the early 1900s, over 115 years ago, when a person named Anna Jarvis from Philadelphia, just down the road, made her life's work to start this holiday. Anna Jarvis started Mother's Day as a way to honor the memory of her own mother, Mrs. Jarvis. Now, Mrs. Jarvis, or Mother Jarvis, had given birth to a total of 12 children in her lifetime, including Anna. 12 children. But back then, because there were such poor health conditions and so many illnesses and diseases in the country, Mother Jarvis lost 8 of her 12 children before they had turned the age of 7. Mother Jarvis wanted to fix the poor health conditions that were taking the lives of so many young children. She organized what she called Mother's Day working clubs, or Mothers Friendship Clubs in West Virginia, to bring awareness to the problem of tuberculosis, a disease that was just as bad back then as the coronavirus is today. Mother Jarvis's clubs gave medicine to the poor, nursing care to the sick, and arranged help for those who were ill with tuberculosis. At the beginning of the Civil War in the United States, Mother Jarvis called together all of her clubs, and she made them pledge that friendship and goodwill would not divide them. Her clubs nursed soldiers from both sides of the Civil War throughout that war, and she saved many lives. After the Civil War, Mother Jarvis worked as a peacemaker, asking families to set aside their differences. She organized a Mother's Friendship Day to bring together families that had been divided by the Civil War. You see, Mother Jarvis believed that friends and families should be connected, and she appealed to the love and respect that most people have for their mothers. She promoted several Mother's Friendship Days while she was alive. When Anna Jarvis was little, she remembered her mother Jarvis saying, quote, "I hope that someone, sometime, will start a Mother's Day to honor mothers for the matchless service she renders to humanity in every field of life. She is entitled to it." You see, Mother Jarvis always wanted there to be a national holiday. So when Mother Jarvis got sick and died, Anna, her daughter, made a pledge. "By the grace of God," she said, "you shall have that Mother's Day." Anna began promoting Mother's Day as we know it in the United States 114 years ago, when she invited some of her friends into her home to Philadelphia to celebrate her mother's life. She announced then at that gathering the idea of having a national day to honor all mothers. A year later, in 1908, Anna persuaded a church in West Virginia to celebrate Mother's Day on the anniversary of her mother's death, the second Sunday in May. Anna wanted it to be a day to honor all mothers, and also a day to remember the work of peacemaking, reconciliation, and social action against poverty. Anna thought that Mother's Day should be a national holiday to recognize mothers as a foundation of the family and of the nation. So Anna and her friends wrote letters, lots of letters, to ministers, business people, and politicians everywhere in the hope that they too would celebrate a National Mother's Day to honor all mothers. And guess what? By 1911, 110 years ago, the word had spread and Mother's Day had grown in popularity. Suddenly, it was being celebrated in almost every state in the country. 3 years later, in 1914, President Woodrow Wilson declared that Mother's Day would be a national holiday, held each year on the second Sunday in May. He said that mothers were, quote, "the greatest source of the country's strength and inspiration." He ordered that the United States flag should be displayed on all public buildings to honor mothers. At first, back then, people observed Mother's Day in a fairly simple way. They attended church, they wrote handwritten letters to their mothers, and they just spent time together. Anna encouraged people to wear flowers of carnations to honor their mothers, so flowers became part of the celebration too. As the years passed, though, more people began buying gifts, presents, and different kinds of flowers for their mothers. Now, Anna didn't think that people needed to spend so much money on Mother's Day. In fact, she was angry when the price of carnations rose on Mother's Day. She believed that the focus of Mother's Day had shifted away from mothers and to gift giving, and she was angry about that. Anna said, quote, "This is not what I intended. I wanted a day of sentiment, of feeling or love, not profit. Well, regardless of what Anna intended or wanted for Mother's Day, it certainly evolved over time into a much larger event than anyone like Anna could ever have predicted. Consider these facts. Americans are expected to spend more than $20 billion to celebrate Mother's Day this Sunday. In the United States, more phone calls are made on Mother's Day than on any other day of the year. Approximately 122 million phone calls are made on Mother's Day. And last year, Verizon said that Mother's Day calls increased 13% and text messages increased 25% due to COVID. 68% of all people in the United States plan to call their mother on Mother's Day. The most popular gift on Mother's Day is the greeting card. Every Mother's Day, there are approximately 152 million Mother's Day cards that are sent. The average American buys almost 3 Mother's Day cards. Most people buy a Mother's Day card not just for their mother, but also for their grandmothers, their sisters who are mothers, and even their mother-in-laws. Mother's Day is the third highest selling holiday for flowers and plants after Christmas and Hanukkah. Approximately 1/4 of all the flowers that are purchased throughout the entire year are bought on Mother's Day. And Mother's Day is normally the busiest day of the year for restaurants. Each year, more than 80 million people make plans to go to a restaurant for Mother's Day. Although this year, restaurant activity will be a little bit lower because of COVID. 36% of Americans plan to buy jewelry on Mother's Day. And flowers remain the most popular gift, with about 70% of Americans buying flowers for their mothers. So Mother's Day has obviously become a big event in the United States. It's huge. But it's also now celebrated officially and unofficially in more than 50 other countries. 8 other countries, Canada, Denmark, Finland, Italy, Turkey, Belgium, Austria, and Japan will all celebrate Mother's Day this Sunday. In Mexico, Mother's Day is celebrated on May 10th, which is next Monday. And whenever that holiday falls on a weekday, like it will this year, mothers in Mexico take the day off from work and children stay home from school. Other countries that will celebrate Mother's Day on May 10th include Hong Kong, Malaysia, Pakistan, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. In Spain and Portugal, Mother's Day is celebrated in December. And in Norway, it's celebrated in February. Why do you think we celebrate Mother's Day in so many countries around the world? Well, you only have to look at your own family, maybe, to realize how important mothers are. When I was a kid, I don't think I fully appreciated how much my mother did for me. She fed me, she clothed me, she took care of me whenever I was sick. She loved me unconditionally, and she supported me emotionally as I grew up and as I became older. Now that I am older and married with children of my own, I see my wife doing some of the same things for our 2 children as my mother once did for me. And it leaves me with a much greater appreciation of the time and energy and sacrifice that mothers make for their children. No mother is perfect, but so many mothers are role models for us, and we love them. Last week, I was reminded of the power of mothers when I was watching a television program on ESPN. ESPN was showcasing the NFL draft, and it did a profile of a football player named Kwity Paye, a young man who had grown up to become a star college football player at the University of Michigan. Kwity Paye's mother, Agnes, fled Liberia in West Africa during that country's first civil war when she was only 12 years old. The reporters interviewed his mother, and she said that she had lost her father, her uncle, and all of her cousins in that war. Agnes walked out of Liberia barefoot to become a refugee in Guinea and Sierra Leone before immigrating to the United States and settling in Providence, Rhode Island. By then, she was a single mother with 2 young children, Kwity and his brother. Back then, Kwity's mother, Agnes, didn't know how to speak English or read or write. She studied to become a nursing assistant, and she said that she took courses so that she could help her 2 boys do their homework at night. When Kwity Paye asked his mother if he could apply to an independent school that had a great high school football program, she took a second job to pay that school tuition. Kwity promised his mother that he'd do so well at high school football, that she wouldn't ever need to pay for college. He pledged to her that he'd get an academic scholarship or a football scholarship to play Division I college football. Kwity's mother never saw him play football in high school because she was working those 2 jobs. She never saw him in those games that made him the 3-time All-State defensive end. She never saw him win the state championship in football. She never saw him win state titles in track and field. Kwity's mom sacrificed her time and energy so that her son could have a better life and a better school. Making good on his promise, Kwity earned a scholarship to play football at the University of Michigan, where he became one of the best pass rushers in college football and also an academic All-Big Ten student. Kwity said that his goals growing up was just to find a job that would enable him to take care of his mom. On Thursday night, the Indianapolis Colts selected Kwity Paye as the 21st pick in the first round of the NFL draft. The Colts have agreed to pay Kwity $13.6 million over the next 4 years and to give him a $7 million signing bonus. He doesn't have to worry about money anymore. Kwity was interviewed immediately after getting drafted into the NFL. His mother was standing beside him, and they shared a long, emotional hug. When asked about getting to the NFL, he said that, quote, "It means everything. That was my whole goal, my whole life growing up. Just seeing how hard my mom worked, that's what made me work harder. Being able to tell her that she's done working means a lot to me." This weekend, I hope that you have time to celebrate all of the mothers in your families. If you have a grandmother, you might want to celebrate her too. We can love and respect our mothers for the things that they have done, everything from feeding us to clothing us to helping us grow and learn. Happy Mother's Day.
Mr. McConnell, thank you so much for such a lovely Mother's Day tribute. I know we're all looking forward to Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. And right in the middle, so in the beginning of chapel, I talked about how it's Teacher Appreciation Week and how teachers are so incredibly important. And right now in Bell Hall, I have a small little afternoons cohort. Say something, guys, so they know you're here. Say hello. Hello. Okay, so right in the middle of Teacher Appreciation Week, how fabulous are our teachers, students? Are they fabulous? What? Oh, and you have baby chicks, yes, so they're even more fabulous. Are they fabulous? Give me a big yes. Yes. So it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and then at the end of the week on the weekend is Mother's Day, and right in the middle is Nurses Appreciation Day. Did you know there was a Nurses Appreciation Day? There is, and it is on Thursday, May 6th. And it is also our special nurse's birthday. So how often does that happen, that it's Nurses Appreciation Day and this special person's birthday on the same day? So I can't think of a better time or a better year to thank our incredible nurse, because I can't even talk about this without getting emotional. The things that this woman has done during our school days, but also every night and every weekend to ensure our health and safety, and doing research and calling families and calling teachers and calling children just to check on us and to be mindful of things that we're going through and during this pandemic. I can't even express the hard work that she has given, her heart, soul, everything to this job and to our school. So I'd love to bring Mrs. Baggio up, and I want you afternoons kiddos to help me say thank you and give a very big cheer when she comes on the stage. Help me, guys, okay? Here we go. Woo! Come on! Woo! It's hard not to hug this special person, but let's say happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! And students, when you're back home, back at school, that is, tomorrow on Thursday, make sure you say thank you to our special nurse, Mrs. Baggio, and happy birthday, too, okay? Thank you, everyone.